Good afternoon. As you well know, His Majesty King Abdullah II, may God bless him, has been exerting exceptional national and international efforts to face this crisis, and he's been examining on daily basis the repercussions of the pandemic on all levels and methods to mitigate it. And he stressed in this context, in an article published in Washington Post today, he stressed that in order to face this common threat, we need to come together, we need to work together and unify our goal and our focus and make it the survival and the safety of humanity everywhere. And he also stressed that one country cannot succeed single-handedly, and that we should put our disagreements aside, and we need to understand that the hostilities of yesterday mean nothing now and do not help us face this common threat. And as part of the government efforts to deal with the impacts of COVID-19 crisis, His Excellency, the Prime Minister, Dr. Omar al-Razzaz, discussed today with the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. He discussed methods of cooperation in the current situation, and he informed the officials of the bank about the efforts taken to deal with the pandemic and contain it. He also informed them about the economic, social, and medical measures taken by the government. And in the framework of reviewing the measures taken to deal with this crisis, and in the light of the improvement in the health situation that we've been witnessing in the kingdom, thank God, as we are witnessing a gradual stabilization, we have decided to ease the lockdown in 3 governorates, Ma'daba, Jarash, and Ajloun, as of tomorrow, Wednesday. The citizens there will be allowed to go out on foot or using their vehicles regardless of their plate numbers. And that would be between 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the same measures that apply to governorates where the lockdown was eased previously will apply to them. And we decided to allow law firms throughout the governorates of the kingdom to reopen as of tomorrow within specified times, and that would be for 5 days, Sunday through Thursday. The implementation of the decision to allow citizens use their private vehicles will start tomorrow at 8 a.m. and that will be based on the odd-even scheme that we announced yesterday. We received many questions as to the implementation of these decisions. To respond to that, the Public Security Directorate is going to issue a detailed statement shortly with all information related to the mechanisms of implementing this decision. We stress that allowing the use of private vehicles is in order to facilitate things for citizens, help them run their errands, do their shopping, or get to their place of work if they are allowed to work during the lockdown. And we warn against the misuse of this decision. Legal measures will be taken against anyone who causes the disruption of citizens' movement or traffic or go out of their house for no essential reason or go beyond the curfew time. Noting that the punishment amount to impounding the violating vehicles for a month as per the defense order, and the fines and paying the fines and fees that are prescribed in the defense order. And also we warn that the elderly and children should not go out of their houses under liability, because these two categories are more vulnerable to the infection and to contracting the illness according to the medical reports. Indeed, we have come a long way in facing and dealing with this pandemic, thank God, and we are witnessing a situation of gradual stabilization thanks to your patience and cooperation over the past days. And I would like to stress that the threat is still there, and we're still betting on your sense of responsibility, especially at this stage. We face two roads ahead of us. We either stay the course towards eliminating this pandemic, or we digress, God forbid, if we don't comply, and that will take us to square one. And therefore, we stress and reiterate that it is important to comply with all prevention measures and to be extremely cautious, and wear their masks and gloves, keep distancing and safe distances, avoid direct touching to the extent possible. And we also stress that it is important that enterprises allowed to work during the lockdown should comply with these measures and have their staff and customers follow them, noting that inspection teams are working extensively to detect any violation and will implement the punishment prescribed in the law, which amount to locking down the enterprise. Gradual easing of lockdown measures and allowing different industry to reopen requires that we get strict at certain times in order to reduce contacts that allow infection to spread to the extent possible. And this is the main purpose that stands behind forcing comprehensive lockdowns. And therefore, there will be a comprehensive lockdown on Friday following the same mechanisms that we've been following over the past weeks. And His Excellency Dr. Saad Jaber shall clarify the purpose and the benefit of implementing this measure over the past weeks. May God protect you, protect your health and that of your loved ones, the country, the leadership, and the whole humanity from this pandemic. We are at your service, and we succeed if you comply. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. There have been no cases of COVID-19 today in the kingdom. And also, there have been 6 cases of recovery, which makes the number of patients with COVID-19 under treatment at hospital 89. Unfortunately, there have been a death in Queen Alia Hospital. May he rest in peace, and our condolences to his family. And we conducted more than 3,000 tests today, random tests for citizens, and all turned negative, thank God. Since January the 24th, our work to face COVID-19 crisis did not only focus on social distancing and lockdown despite their importance, but we also worked on building our capacity as a state to deal with this unprecedented pandemic threat. Statistically speaking, we built our capacity in producing masks and overalls, the protective overalls to protect nurses and to protect the medical staff, and the production of sanitizers. Today, 1,300,000 masks were produced in Jordan. We did not produce any before, and we also increased the number of ICU beds. As we speak, the workers are working at Prince Hamza Hospital to increase the number of beds at ICU. The number of ICU beds in Prince Hamza Hospital alone increased by 30 beds The epidemiological tracing teams increased from 15 teams to 160 teams. We also built our capacity in conducting PCR tests to detect COVID-19 from 300 up to 3,000. And upon the instructions of His Majesty, soon they will multiply by 2, rather by 3. So we hit the number 1,000, God willing. And we also increased the number of ventilators in the public sector for more than 1,000 ventilators ready for use. The social distancing measures and the well-planned closed lockdown that were implemented by the government allowed us to use this period, critical period, to improve the capacity of our medical sector so it is more resilient and more ready to deal with this pandemic. And these achievements, in addition to the level of awareness that we've seen among our citizens as to the importance of following the prevention measures, they are the things that allow us to reopen gradual planned reopening, that allow us to have the gradual planned reopening of industries, because a healthy community is capable of restoring a healthy economy. In implementation of His Majesty instructions, we're going to cooperate the Ministry of Health and the Royal Medical Services to develop a health medical action plan for the coming months that is based on the number of beds and the medical staff at ICUs, ventilators, COVID-19 detectors, so they increase at a quantity that will be enough to deal with any emergency and improve the level of treatment services at hospital, the thing that will enable us to deal with any change in the pandemic situation, God forbid, and to deal with any scenario that we might see down the line. A comprehensive lockdown means that the majority of citizens are in their houses. The thing that will enable epidemiological tracing teams reach to an important group, which is the third level contacts, and examine them and test their situation pandemic-wise. In relation to the pandemic and infection. And a comprehensive lockdown means reducing contacts and mixing and separates citizens from one another. And this is essential in the context of gradual reopening of industries, the thing that reduces the possibility of infection and breaks what we call in epidemiology, what we call the cycle of infection, and it is an essential step now in order to contain the pandemic. And I would like to mention today and yesterday we vaccinated 41,133 kids. Our medical centers are open for our kids to give them their vaccines. May God protect this country and its leader, and peace be upon you.